Hi Vicky, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to talk to you today. Thanks for joining me and giving up your time. I know how busy you are. I guess with on Twitter we've sort of connected and we've talked about things, and with over 85,000 Twitter followers now, I think it is, you're a real inspiration to me and to thousands of others all over the world. Um, so today I'm just going to ask you a few questions, give my PLN a chance to learn a bit more about you and what it is that you do and what makes you tick. So I guess the first thing is just give us a rundown of your career and what have been the highlights for you.
Well, I've been teaching for 13 years. I started off in business, but everything changed when my curriculum director was acting principal, and it was kind of like a reverse job interview. She brought me in to convince me that that was where I needed to work. And I told her I would try it for a year. I didn't really picture myself teaching at the high school level because I had taught some college stuff and I'd taught teachers, but I hadn't really taught there. And I told her I'd give it a year 13 years ago. So a few years after that, in 2005, I started blogging. And then I started collaborating globally the next year and worked with others to build massive projects, and so that was cool. And the first book, Flattening Classrooms, Engaging Minds, that was awesome. And I just had my first solo book come out in May. That's
Wow.
Reinventing Writing. And then the show that I have, Every Classroom Matters, is my internet radio show. But I think that for me and who I am online is when I started blogging, I felt like I was the last person on the planet to come to blogging. And I thought, I can't blog as an expert, but I can blog as a beginner. I can share what I'm learning. And I just always want to keep that approach because I think that I want to encourage teachers just like me who need encouragement and who need things to be simple and fast and just, want to connect with others as they build their PLN. So I don't ever want to, I don't like the term rock star when people use it because I do not wear leather pants and I do not sing Living on a Prayer. I am just a regular teacher, and because I think that when you get proud or, oh, I have 85, I am no different than anybody else. I'm just really blessed that whatever I'm saying is encouraging and helpful. And if it's not, don't follow, because you need to find somebody else for your PLN. Every PLN is different. You build it out of who encourages you, but I think the point is you need to have a PLN.
Yeah.
And it needs to have people who are encouraging to you, who lift you up, because it's hard being a teacher. And you can't do it without others. You need inspiration, you need ideas. So build your PLN. And find people, not just like you though. I mean, that's one thing about building your PLN. You and I are in each other's PLN. I know there's Richard Wells from over in your neck of the woods, and Andrew Churches are all my friends. You want to find people who are different, but that you respect and who are dedicated to excellence, because you become like who you hang around. So hang around good people and add great people to your PLN because they'll pull you up.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and I know what you're saying about in the way that people often refer to you or to other people that are doing great things as like celebrities in a way. And I think what you're doing is really powerful, that you're still in the classroom. And I really respect that. I think that's fantastic. Over the last few days, Vicky, you've been at the Bammys, and you were up for an award, and you won an award for your show, and you got the chance to
Shocking.
speak.
Yeah.
And I was following it all along on Twitter, and it was great to read the feed. Tell us a little bit about the awards and your success at the awards.
Well, Bami actually comes from the network. So it was Body. It started off with a show called Body and Mind. Okay, and then they had the Body and Mind Network. Well, that doesn't sound as good as BAM, because BAM is like, to me, and this is not what Errol told me, who runs the network. BAM is like, yeah. So they call it the BAM Network, and that's where my show's hosted, is the BAM Network, and they produce the show. And we don't call it podcasts, we call it internet radio, because the goal is to be very high quality radio productions. And so the way the shows work, they're here in the U.S. It's intended to be a national award. There is actually an academy that's part of it. And they do, best elementary school teacher principals, everything. And it can be across any type of school. So it could be public, private, charter school, any type, and which I really like because we're just celebrating great education. And that's my show, is Every Classroom Matters. Wherever you are, whoever you are, your classroom matters. And you need to improve it and level it up every day. So, you know, they have a voting process to get into the finals. And in the finals, they have judges. For my category, they had some award-winning radio producers who listen to the show. And the thing is, the other finalists, Ed Chad and Ed Tech Chad, and the two others, Don Wettrick, and I'm forgetting the other person who I know very well. It'll come back to me. The Branded Group, Sat Chat also. They're just fantastic too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just being in the company with them, I didn't expect it. But I was very grateful because, you know, I teared up when it happened, just because I love doing it so much. You know, it's like when teachers email me and say they're encouraged, or they say that was a great idea, or I'm doing something new, then that is reward. But, you know, we live in such a thankless profession. Education, you don't really get thanked ever. And, you know, my mom taught me when I was pretty young, so Vicki, don't ever expect anybody to thank you to do a good job. Don't ever expect anybody to notice what a hard time you're having. You have to just do a great job no matter what. And so I have that mindset. And it's been a tough school year. I've worked really hard. I've had a lot going on. And when I sat there and somebody actually said something nice, not that people are mean, you know, but to hear somebody say something kind, that it was helping others, just meant so much. So I really wish that for every educator. We've got to do this at all levels. I mean, you need it in New Zealand, we need it in Australia, we need it everywhere. We've got to do a better job of thanking teachers. And a lot of people don't like, you know, to have awards, you know, but they do it in every other profession.
Yeah.
And it's just, we've got to do a better job of encouraging each other, I think. It just lifted me, and it was very exciting. And now everybody in my hometown is asking what show I have. Not everybody's, you know, I try not to push it down anybody's throats, because I'm just here and I'm just Vicki Davis, the person they knew, they grew up with. I'm not anything big or special. But if I've been given a spotlight, which I have through my blog, I want to take out a mirror and shine it on all these other educators who are doing incredible things.
Oh, that's so powerful, Vicki. So I guess one of the things that you're most well known for is your sense of humour. I've written a few blog posts about humour and the importance of being yourself. As an educator, why do you think it's so important to have a great sense of humour for both your colleagues and your students?
Well, I didn't know I was known for my sense of humor, but I appreciate it. I heard a great quote. I'm trying to remember who said it. He who laughs lasts. I think that too many of us take ourselves way too seriously.
Yeah.
I have so much fun with my students. It's just ridiculous. It's like, this is something called Homecoming Week where we are. It's a spirit week where you celebrate the school. And like tomorrow is Twin Day. And these two boys had gone to Walmart to buy these overalls, and they're going to be twins, and they looked just ridiculous. Well, they cut the legs off, and who did they come? They came into my classroom to show me, to figure out how they could make their costumes more obnoxious. So we're sitting there laughing about what can we do to make their costumes more obnoxious, and we came up with some funny things, and you know, they had these big pockets and other stuff, but I just love it. I mean, I'm gonna get a lot done. I'm gonna work 52 minutes. I have a 52-minute class. I'm usually starting right when that bell rings. I go right when the bell ends. But you know, life is just so short. And I'll give you an example. So every year I play this joke on my keyboarding students, and I set it up, and like, people won't tell the younger grades because they know I'm gonna do it. So they have these 1-minute timed writings where I set a timer, right? So I'll go for a week or two with the timer, just a normal timer, beep, beep, beep. Well then, without them knowing what I'm doing, I'll actually set my sound to be a bomb going off. And I'll set the volume all the way up. And I will put it, and they'll have their 1-minute time writing, and then that bomb goes off, and they all, like, they levitate. They go this off their chair. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and it's like, why would you do that? But it's like, it just is what it is. I mean, we laugh together, and they kind of see that, yeah, we're here to work really, really hard. I want them all. I want to have a class average of 60 words a minute, which is pretty fast. But you know what? We laugh too. We have a good time. We shoot a lot of film, so we're always coming up with ways to insert humor into it. I just think we can't take ourselves too seriously, and we have to be willing to laugh at ourselves um, and enjoy our lives. Life is so short, and if you're a teacher and you gotta laugh at stuff. I mean, the dumbest things happen in schools. I bet you have a million stories too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. One of my other passions is global connectedness, and you've been involved in 20 or more global collaborative projects, connecting students all over the world. Why do you think it's important to be connected globally, and how does global connectedness improve student learning?
Well, students don't want to talk about the world; they want to talk with the world. And the other thing is that there are things that I found their worldview changes when they connect with people from other places, when they actually realize they're real people. I could talk all day long about cultural norms in the Middle East, or how Australia's different, how New Zealand's different, how China's different. But when my students connect with other students from those places, that's when they truly understand. And I've actually found it doesn't really take that many places to have that worldview shift. And in the first book, Flattening Classrooms, Engaging Minds, we quote some research by Dr. Craig Union, who had found a shift in students' ethnocentrism and how they viewed their own country and their world as part of participating in one of our projects. So we know the worldview changes. And I think it's part of being, people talk about a 21st century skills. It's totally not just the skills. It's about 21st century connections. And do they know how to Skype like you and I are Skyping? Do they know how to communicate online? And do they know how to present online? One thing I require for my students is online presentation skills. And every student will do at least 3 online presentations in 9th and 10th grade. So it's completely transformational, but it's a mindset, and it can be done, which is why Julie and I wrote that first book, was really how can every teacher take their standards and take their curriculum and find other teachers and integrate global connectedness or connected learning and collaboration. How can they flatten their classroom and work with other kids around the world? Now, my biggest new thing is this whole idea of intergenerational learning experiences. So in the past year, I've been connecting my students a lot with older, like master's students, and my 9th and 10th graders, just because I kind of feel like part of what I do, part of my role in the world, is to kind of move to the leading, bleeding edge. That's where I'm happiest, innovating. And so I kind of want to push that and show, because I think that if you're a pre-service teacher, if you're learning to be a teacher, why aren't you already going ahead and collaborating virtually with classrooms? Because you need to be in the classroom, of course. That student teaching is important. But why aren't we doing collaborative virtual teaching throughout? But I think that a lot of times in this world, I've found that people need working models. Guy has a piece that about the importance of worked examples or worked models, but I'd like to give living examples by actually doing it. So Gamified this past spring is an example of one that we did that was an intergenerational learning experience. So that's kind of where I'm experimenting now with my students. And as we experiment, I try to teach them about alpha testing and beta testing and the importance of having transparency and evaluating things. So, it's just like the process of innovation is also what we're studying, I guess.
That's amazing. And I'm gonna tie it up there, Vicki, because I know you're busy, and I really appreciate everything you've shared. And thank you for being inspirational, and thank you for sharing your views and your thoughts on education, everything that you do on your blog and on your chat, and today with me. Things that you do really open up the world for educators, and collaborative projects as well. The things that you've done have inspired many people. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate your time.
Awesome, thanks.